Janet Yellen, the first woman to hold the position of US Treasury Secretary, has left the building, and let's be honest, the building's looking a bit worse for wear. Her departure has sparked a firestorm of debate, with some praising her efforts and others, well, let's just say they are not throwing her a farewell parade. The New York Post, never one to shy away from a dramatic headline, labeled her tenure a reign of economic chaos. So, was Yellen a financial mastermind, or did she leave the economy in shambles? Let's dive in and find out. Before we get to the nitty-gritty, let's talk about Janet Yellen, the woman behind the policy. Janet Yellen is a name that resonates with power, intellect, and resilience. She has carved out a remarkable career in a field traditionally dominated by men, and her journey is nothing short of inspiring. She's no stranger to breaking glass ceilings. From her early days in academia to her groundbreaking roles in government, Yellen has consistently shattered expectations and set new standards. She was the first woman to chair the Federal Reserve, basically the big cheese of the US central banking system. This role put her at the helm of the world's most influential central bank, where her decisions had far-reaching impacts on the global economy. She's got a PhD in economics from Yale. Her academic credentials are impeccable, and her contributions to economic theory and policy are widely respected. She's written books with titles like The Fabulous World of Macroeconomics. Her writings have influenced both scholars and policymakers, making complex economic concepts accessible to a broader audience. In short, she's got more economic know-how than a Wall Street wolf pack combined. Her deep understanding of economic principles and her ability to apply them in real-world scenarios have earned her a reputation as one of the foremost economists of our time. So when she stepped into the Treasury Secretary role, people expected big things. Her appointment was seen as a beacon of hope during turbulent times, and many believe she was the right person to steer the economy through the storm. But she also inherited some, shall we say, challenging circumstances. The economic landscape was fraught with issues ranging from financial instability to unprecedented global challenges. Yet Yellen's experience and expertise provided a steady hand, guiding the nation through complex economic waters. Her tenure as Treasury Secretary has been marked by decisive actions and thoughtful policies aimed at fostering economic recovery and stability. In a world where economic decisions can make or break nations, Janet Yellen stands out as a woman of substance, navigating a man's world with grace, intelligence, and unwavering determination. Remember 2020? Yeah, nobody wants to. The COVID-19 pandemic hit the world like a ton of bricks, and the US economy took a nosedive. Businesses shuttered, unemployment skyrocketed, and the stock market resembled a roller coaster designed by a sadist. This was the economic landscape Yellen inherited. It was like being asked to captain a ship that was already half sunk and on fire. She had to act fast and make tough decisions, and not everyone was going to be happy with the choices she made. One of the biggest criticisms leveled at Yellen is her handling of inflation. Remember when the price of literally everything went through the roof? Yeah, that wasn't great. Critics argue that Yellen's policies, particularly the massive government spending programs, poured gasoline on the inflationary fire. They say she kept interest rates too low for too long, essentially giving the economy a sugar rush it couldn't handle. And let's be real, nobody likes paying $10 for a gallon of milk. It's enough to make you want to start a milk-based revolution. Section 5. A balancing act. Successes amidst the storm. Okay, so inflation was a bit of a bummer, prices were rising, and it felt like our wallets were getting lighter by the day. But to be fair to Yellen, it wasn't all doom and gloom. She had a lot on her plate, and she managed to juggle multiple crises at once. She did oversee a period of economic recovery. Unemployment fell, the stock market rebounded mostly, and businesses started to reopen. This was no small feat, considering the economic turmoil that had preceded her tenure. Small businesses, which are the backbone of our economy, began to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Shops that had been shuttered for months were finally able to open their doors again. Plus, she played a key role in implementing some important financial regulations, the kind designed to prevent another financial meltdown like the one we saw in 2008. These regulations were aimed at making the financial system more resilient and less prone to the kind of risky behavior that had led to the crisis. The 2008 financial crisis was a wake-up call for everyone. It showed us just how fragile our financial system could be. Yellen's regulations were a step towards ensuring that we wouldn't have to go through that kind of turmoil again. It's like she was trying to build a stronger financial system while simultaneously putting out the fire that was already raging. Imagine trying to construct a building while it's already on fire. That's the kind of challenge she was up against, and yet she managed to make significant progress. Financial advisors were able to guide their clients through the storm. Firefighters were putting out metaphorical and literal fires, and construction workers were building the foundation for a more stable future. Communities came together to support each other, and local leaders worked tirelessly to implement these new regulations and ensure that they were effective. It was a collective effort, and Yellen was at the helm, steering the ship through turbulent waters. The result? A period of economic growth that, while not without its challenges, showed that resilience and smart policy making could lead to recovery. People started to feel a sense of optimism again. New businesses were opening, and there was a renewed sense of hope for the future. Yellen's efforts didn't go unnoticed. She received accolades for her work and was recognized as a key figure in steering the economy back on track. Her legacy is a testament to the power of perseverance and the importance of sound financial policies. As the storm clouds began to clear, the sun started to shine a little brighter. People could once again enjoy the simple pleasures of life, knowing that the worst was behind them. The journey wasn't easy, but the successes amidst the storm made it all worthwhile. Section 6, the debt dilemma, a ticking time bomb. Another major point of contention is the national debt. It's a big, scary number that keeps getting bigger, and it seems like nobody can agree on how to deal with it. Yellen's critics argue that her policies, particularly the massive spending programs, only made the debt problem worse. They say we're kicking the can down the road, racking up a tab that future generations will have to pay. And, well, they're not wrong. The national debt is a serious issue, and it's not going away anytime soon. Section 7. A new dawn, a new Trump, a new economy. So Yellen's gone, and the economy is, well, a mixed bag. Inflation is cooling down, but it's still higher than we'd like. The job market is strong, but the national debt looms large. What does this mean for the new Trump administration? They've got their work cut out for them, that's for sure. They'll need to find a way to keep the economy growing while tackling inflation and addressing the debt. It's a delicate balancing act, and only time will tell if they can pull it off. Section 8, Yellen's legacy, a mixed bag of fiscal fortunes. So, was Janet Yellen a financial wizard or a disaster in a pantsuit? The truth, as always, is complicated. Yellen's tenure as the first female Treasury Secretary and former chair of the Federal Reserve was marked by a series of unprecedented challenges and significant policy decisions. She navigated the US economy through the turbulent waters of the COVID-19 pandemic, implementing measures to stabilize financial markets and support economic recovery. Her quick actions helped prevent a deeper recession, but the long-term impacts of her policies are still being debated. Yellen faced unprecedented challenges and made some tough calls, some more successful than others. Her efforts to inject liquidity into the economy and support businesses and individuals were crucial during the pandemic. However, these measures also contributed to rising inflation, a problem that continues to plague the economy. She deserves credit for her efforts to stabilize the economy during a tumultuous time, but she also deserves scrutiny for the policies that contributed to inflation and the growing national debt. Her approach to fiscal policy was often seen as a balancing act between immediate economic relief and long-term financial stability. The rising national debt and inflation are significant concerns that have sparked debates among economists and policymakers. Some argue that her policies were necessary to prevent a greater economic collapse, while others believe that they have set the stage for future financial challenges. Ultimately, her legacy will be debated for years to come. Was she a visionary leader who steered the economy through one of its darkest hours? Or did her policies sow the seeds for future economic troubles? The answer may lie somewhere in between. But one thing's for sure, she left an indelible mark on the US economy, for better or for worse. Her tenure will be remembered as a time of significant economic intervention and policy experimentation, with outcomes that will be analyzed and debated for generations to come.